Hey everybody, happy month two of quarantine. I think if you can call that happy, more like welcome to chaos, I think. Just wanted to jump on. I've got a little bit of fun topic kind of meshed together training, and I thought I would jump on and put it out there for you and maybe lighten your day a little bit and give you a little bit of insight as to what's been going on in our house while we all try to stay inside and not lose, our spacing and all of the things that happen in our household. So, okay, so I have a son who has been a Lego fanatic since he's a little boy. He's not home here very often because he loves to kind of do the Motorhead thing with his dad. But he has had Legos since he was a very little boy. And for those of you who have children with Legos, you know that Legos kind of take on a life of their own. So I have had, over the years, multiple attempts said to Parker, let's sort your Legos or let's put them someplace different or whatever. And it doesn't ever happen. And he's a boy and sorting things for Parker just isn't a strength. So I took on the initiative to redo Parker's room and make some more space in it for him when he's here and clean it. So one of the things that I did was I proceeded to sort his Legos. And I will tell you, I have pictures, so I can put the pictures up on my Instagram once the video is up for everybody to see, because it was quite funny as I was changing it, but we literally have towers and drawers full of Legos, and I chose to sort them by color because I am some kind of OCD freak at this stage of my life, I guess. So I started to sort Parker's Legos. It took me, a couple days, and we got all of the bins necessary and a couple trips to Target to get everything I needed. And while I was working on the project and coaching as calls came through and things like that, my daughter came home from school or from work a couple times and said, why have you chosen to do this? It took over a family FaceTime call we were having. It was all kinds of, kind of turned into some things comical. It started to occur to me that there were a lot of little lessons in terms of sorting all of these Legos. And literally we're talking thousands and thousands of Legos. When I post the pictures, maybe you'll be able to see a little bit better. You look at a big, huge bin of Legos and we're talking maybe a 3-foot by 2-foot by 2-foot bin of Legos which was only one of them, by the way, that is full. And you think, oh, well, I have these 3 bins. They should absolutely sort into these 3 bins. And something in that tote, we'll call them the yellow Legos, turned into a way bigger project than it appeared when you're looking at it as a whole with everything else. And I think that as professionals, especially now, we've all had a chance to really look at what our daily life used to look like, what it's going to look like going forward, what it looks like now. We've had a chance to maybe dissect a lot of things, and a lot of little things have maybe become bigger, whether it be our personal finances, our professional finances, maybe our relationship with our significant other. Who knows? Maybe you thought it was good to go, and now 5-6 weeks into this quarantine situation, what seemed to be something that was on smooth sailing isn't so much on smooth sailing anymore. Maybe it's even your career. Some things are a bigger deal than what we realize. And we have to give attention to it. I think that what we think is a big deal, maybe it's the brown Legos. Ironically, I thought brown Legos were going to take up this huge big bin, and what I got is this little tiny bin that doesn't even take up anything. In fact, it's sharing with another color because it just needed this little tiny bin. But you look at a big blob of Legos, even a big brand new box, and you think, wow, there's a lot of brown Legos in there. It's no different than something big in life. Maybe your relationship with your spouse, you think you've got a lot of problems in it, but now that you've actually had some time to spend with each other, it's either way bigger or way better. I think that you need to really be able to shake it up, and some things are easier when you shake them up and look at them from a different perspective. We talk about perspective a lot here at Oxygen, and sometimes you have to seek someone else's perspective to kind of balance your own. Sometimes you have to walk away from it to get new perspective. Sometimes educating yourself is a great way to gain new perspective. But there's always an opportunity when we look at a situation as a whole to break it down and find some of the smaller things that maybe aren't as big of a deal as we make them, or need to be a bigger deal because we aren't paying close enough attention. The other thing that I noticed while I was doing this, and for those of you, and this will sound like a freakishly sexist comment when I say it, but I say it this way very lovingly because my boyfriend actually pointed this out, and I grew up with Legos. I was an engineering student when I went to college. So this kind of thing was all stuff that I loved. My brothers and I have all brothers. I didn't have any sisters. So Legos and Lincoln Logs and all those were pretty much the two things in my household that we all were allowed to play with when we were little. We didn't really have the money to have all the fancy stuff. So when my boyfriend had given my son this big tub of Legos that he had played with when he was little, he said, check out all the wheels that are in there. He used to ask for, when he was a little boy, packages of just wheels. And as I started sorting, and I didn't realize because I had never seen that, and Parker had some that were his own as well, I didn't realize that the wheels were such a big deal. The wheels ended up needing their own bin. And as I had sorted these all with the black and gray Legos, and the bin was getting full, and I'm like, man, there's a lot of wheels in here. And they're all different shapes and sizes. It's not anything that, sticks out. They're thin and thick and, whatever. But then it occurred to me that they actually needed their own space to be able to thrive. These wheels needed their own space. As Parker starts to build, and ironically, his sister will plop down in here with this big open space now that it's here, and just kind of empty her brain, and she's a very tactical child as well. They have to be accessible. And the only way that they're readily accessible is if they're in their own place where you can find them. So what is going on in your business or in your personal life where you need to sort something aside and be able to readily get a hold of it so that you can use it? I'll tell you, the one thing that this applies to the most in my personal life is my running shoes. If my running shoes start to sift back further and further into the closet, the less likely I am to go running when I don't want to. But if those suckers are sitting by the door, I am more likely to go even when I don't want to, even if it's just for a mile, even if it's just for a mile and a half. I have a bunch of finance things that I keep very close to the front of my desk so that I don't mistake them. There are things that I keep very strategically in their own bin so that I don't make the mistake to let them get buried. And it's so easy to do, right? You saw that big bin. To throw them in the black and gray Lego bin was so easy. But when you really look at it, it does need its own place. So some things need their own bin. Some things are a bigger deal than we give them credit for. And some things we just pay way too much attention to. And it just doesn't need that much focus. It will function on its own. It will do its job without all of the chaos and lack of return, we just don't need to give it that much attention. So I have a couple of tips, and these are more business oriented now that we've done it. I'm sure that you're all sick of hearing about my son's Legos. And like I said, the pictures are pretty funny. The towers sitting on my kitchen table were bigger than I was as we were going through this. But so if you're trying to get some new perspective, whether it be on your business or your personal life, your relationship you're working through, just ideas and concepts, whatever that is, there's a great way to do sticky notes or a storyboard concept. I have a door in my office that I put the sticky notes on. And again, I'll place some of these ideas throughout our social media, so you can go back to them if you'd like. And you can just kind of map them out. And the nice thing about sticky notes is you can kind of move them back and forth and around, get rid of one, put another one up. So the sticky notes are great. Another one that I learned a few years ago is that we tend to overwhelm ourselves. I love the notes section on my phone when I have to be out and about for the day. But the top 3 things you want to get done every day, go ahead and put them in your notes section and take everything else on that list and exchange it or return button it all the way out of the way. And you will be more inclined to get those 3 things done. And then you can go back to everything else that's on the screen. But when you can see 25, 30 lines of stuff, you'll be completely overwhelmed. So just aim for those 3 and then just exchange those items down off of the screen so you can't see them. And then this one is a good one. This is sift through the pile and change how you see it. This goes back to perspective, like we talked about a little while ago. And as I was going through Parker's Legos, because it was such a daunting task and it was killing my back, and I ended up seeing the chiropractor after it was all said and done with, it occurred to me that kind of like doing a puzzle, when you're looking at the same pieces over and over and over again, I ended up taking the pieces and putting them in a small Tupperware container so that I could sift through them and just feel like I was at least accomplishing something, because they were it felt like I was not getting anywhere. But as you take a bin of something and you sift through it, you start to see the colors a little bit better. You can now see that there's red, yellow, blue, and just a minute ago, it all just looked black and gray again. The same thing with the items that we have going on in our life. And let's be very, very candid. We are all starting to get fidgety. Whether you are an introvert and you live for the moment somebody gets to tell you to stay home, or you're an extrovert and you hate every minute of this. Maybe you have your job, you've lost your job. Your kids are home, you don't have kids. You're alone, you're overwhelmed, any variation of that. It's probably time to sift through the pile and see what you can change or what you can adjust. I get up every day and clean something in my house, whether it's dirty or not, just so that I feel productive. I get up every day and take a shower. I may put clean pajamas on, but you have to do something to be productive and sift through the Legos so that you can see it in a new way. So those are just a couple of fun things. Like I said, we've had some crazy projects going on around here over the last 5 weeks, and it's been good, but I am one of those people who lives to get to be told to stay at home anymore in my life, and I'm ready for some sunshine and to get out and about. So I hope everyone's doing well. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, the website is up and functioning, so feel free to jump on and let us know what you think, OxygenEq.com. And we would love to hear just a little bit about how your quarantine is going and anything we can do to help you. So I hope everybody takes just a little bit of time to breathe life in, and we'll talk to everybody soon. Have a great day.